Hello and welcome to Fire Breathing Kittens, a tabletop role-playing game live play podcast. Here at Fire Breathing Kittens, we have a consistent world and set of characters that go on different adventures using different RPG mechanics. Today, we are playing using the tabletop RPG Quickstart mechanics. This is a Powered by the Apocalypse game, and we're specifically using the Quickstart guide. This Quickstart is available on Drive-Thru RPG, and through is spelled THRU. You can download the Quickstart for free or give whatever amount of money you think is appropriate for this great Quickstart guide and start playing with your friends. If you want to buy the full game by Leader Games, you can go to Magpie Games and get the full tabletop RPG set there. All right. Our friends today are Errol Corvidbow.
Hello, everyone. Yes, I am currently wearing a large, wide-brimmed hat with a feather protruding out of it, an eye patch over my right eye, as well as a burn scar down the right side of my face. I'm wearing a white puffy shirt, and I have gold rings on my fingers and a pair of freshly shined boots.
And Kit. I don't quite know how to say your full name.
Well, don't worry about it. It's not like it's the end of the season, is it? No, definitely not. Don't worry about it. No, my name is, Perakimite, but you can call me Kit, because as you've seen, not many people can say the full thing. I'm quite a small little bird person. I'm about maybe 1.5 feet tall. I've got a long little beak. I'm quite pudgy. I've got goggles to protect my eyes because I'm a bit of a clockwork smith. And I've been developing this backpack, which has got wings so I can fly, and also recently it's grown hands so I can, open doors, which is quite useful now. I'm seeing all sorts of things I never saw before, like inside.
Wow. I would be more happy for you if I weren't personally attacked earlier, but I think we'll just go for neutral. That's great. And last but not least, we have Barbara Angeli.
Hey everyone, I'm Barbara. I'm a teal-haired centaur. I'm a teenager and I'm kind of figuring out what I want to do for a living, but I think it's make potions. It's been going really well so far. And then as a player, I have a list of vocab words from the movie Clueless. My character study for this Barbara character, Barbie, if you want to call her that, was watch a movie, write down all the words I don't frequently use, and then play bingo as I play this root quick start game and try to use all the words from my list. And if you want to make it a drinking game, don't. That's unhealthy, but you can.
All right. With everybody introduced, let's jump right into the game. It is a regular day at the Fire Breathing Kittens Guild Hall in Nicomoy. There are a couple of other guild members in the hall right now, and you're all trying to have a quiet drink or to chat. But unfortunately, there's been a consistent loud noise outside of the guild hall. And looking out the window, you can see one of the more senior guild members, Skirmish Killington, outside the hall. This fire-breathing kitten is a Goliath, so they're particularly big. They're like, I think 7 or 8 feet tall. And he loves to drink. And right now he's got 2 huge mugs of ale in his hand. And he's drinking from one and spouting out words. And his accent's a little off. It sounds like probably because he's drunk. But he's just taking a drink and spouting, I've never seen anything so atrocious in my life. I can't. And takes another drink. Oh, that tastes disgusting. Who made this? It's very unlike the Skirmish that you guys have come to know, who's generally very congenial and a bit more of a gentle giant, though you do know he has the ability to wreck stuff. And so there's just this huge commotion outside. What are you guys doing?
Well, I think Kit is probably at the time still thrilled with being able to have hands. So I think at the moment he's on a table building a card castle and just kind of going, oh yeah, look at this. I can do like this and that, and look, I can hold this mug, see? And I put it down. I always know it's falling off again. But look, I can pick it up off the floor. It's amazing. Guys, do you understand how good? Oh yeah, you all have hands. Okay, yeah, I keep forgetting that.
I'm just currently handing him cards and being like, don't forget to add one to the foyer over there.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, yeah, yeah, we need to get these columns all sorted. It won't hold the dome otherwise.
You're doing a great job with the new hands.
Oh, yeah, well, I've been practicing. I've thrown quite a lot of X's and run away afterwards.
I'm demonstrating how to bridge shuffle with a deck of cards.
Okay. So
Yeah.
as you guys are building and shuffling, there is a loud stomp, stomp, stomp from outside, shaking the floor, which shakes the table and causes all of the cards to fall. And you hear Skirmish just laughing and then cursing outside the hall.
Skirmish is on one again.
Yeah, he hasn't been quite the same since what was that? We went up to the North Pole, was it? Yeah. Hasn't been quite the same since then.
Why is he going ballistic?
I don't know. Maybe we should ask him. I'll stick my head out of the door and say, hey, Skirmish, buddy, what's the problem?
Okay. So we're going to introduce the first basic move of the game. So the way that Root works is it has a list of basic moves: persuade an NPC, trust fate, attack something. And one of the moves is figure someone out. So, Errol, I would like you to try and figure someone out. Roll 2d6 and then add your modifier for charm onto that.
Okay. I will say, as I am playing a thief, this might not come into play, but if it does, I have something called Nose for Gold. If I figure someone out, I can always ask, what is the most valuable thing you are carrying, or what is the most valuable thing here? So, but I'm going to go ahead and roll. I got a 8 plus 1 is 9. And
Okay.
that's a hold 1, I think.
Yeah. So there's a list of questions you can choose to ask. You can choose to ask that now or later. But you definitely observe that at the very least, Skirmish is dancing around very what's the word? It's like his legs are kind of made of jello. Like one is kind of moving a little bit weirdly, like the left knee's going to the left and the right knee's bending backwards, and it's all just acting as though they're not coordinated like a normal person should be.
So there's some body horror going on here.
It's not like bending back. It's like over, like it's like overextending your knee,
God.
right?
Okay, so
I'm bugging. Is his leg going the wrong way?
his joints are all kinds of confused right now. So I'm trying to decide what question I would ask. One of them is, what does your character intend to do? I'm guessing that would be Skirmish in this case. So that would be my question.
Okay. You can see that despite his very loud and wild behavior, there's kind of an emptiness in his eyes and his face. Like it's just a little blank. And there is no intention there. There just seems to be independent action to like each part of him.
Yeah, I don't think this is Skirmish, guys. Something's going on here. I will, you know what? I'm going to say to this weird amorphous Skirmish, I'm going to say, oh, Skirmish, I think there's some more ale inside the. No, now I'm thinking that's a bad idea.
Do it.
There's some more ale inside the guild hall we got just for you. If you would like it.
Immediately you see part of the hips turn towards the guild hall, and then the feet follow, and then the chest follows, and then the head follows. And he's like, more ale? Well, of course I will. And he just like awkwardly steps one foot in front of the other and steps a little too strongly into the floor of the guild hall, and his foot gets stuck. He tries to pull it out, and you see his foot pop off. But strangely enough, it's not his foot. Wriggling out from what looks like a foot, it's almost like this illusion magic falls apart, and you see where his foot should be is an opossum.
Can I grab this opossum as swiftly? Like, can I swiftly try to grab it?
Go ahead and use the action grapple an enemy.
Grapple
and use your might modifier.
Okay. That is a 9, actually. I got 8 on the dice and a +1.
Okay. So on a 7 to 9, you as Errol and I as the opossum choose one of 4 options simultaneously. So strike a fast blow, inflict injury, wear them down, mark exhaustion, exploit a weakness, mark exhaustion to inflict 2 injury, or you withdraw and disengage to close range. So I don't know how we're necessarily going to do this like at the same time, but give you a couple seconds and then I'll count down and we can say which ones we choose.
Imagine if Errol died right now.
To a
like
possum.
about 10 minutes in.
Yeah, I will mark exhaustion to inflict 2 injury.
Okay. I was going to choose you strike a fast blow, inflict injury.
All right, so 1 injury and 1 exhaustion for me.
Okay. And then this opossum has 2 injury, which is pretty extensive. All of these damage, injury and exhaustion are 2 kinds of damage you can take, basically. And you can have 3 to 5 boxes that you mark off. So having like 2 out of 3 or 2 out of 5 is already pretty bad. So, Errol, you go towards this opossum who kind of like jumps up in fright. And as you go and attack it, it goes to strike you back. How do you attack it?
Well, I know mechanically I inflicted injury, but I'm really only trying to subdue this possum. Of course, you know, grappling with a possum can be pretty harrowing because they do have claws and sharp teeth. So I'm just like diving on it, trying to like bear hug it, and it's like just scratching up my face, I guess.
Yeah. And, you know, it's an opossum, so you're going to maybe like injure it more than you intend when you do so, but you do successfully grasp the opossum. And it just starts to squeal and writhe, and it's trying its best to get out of your grip. Skirmish is starting to look a little worried. He drops the 2 mugs and starts to rush towards Errol. Is there anything you guys would like to do?
Yeah, I think this is a good time for Harry because it works on a group of things, and I'm thinking that's a group of possums.
Go for it.
All right. Harry a group. When you harry a group of enemies at far range, which I am, and they are probably, mark aware and roll with cunning. So I don't really know what where represents here. Like, am I using up a potion? Yeah, that's probably. I'm grabbing a potion out of my saddlebags, and just a question about the character sheet. Where is where?
Oh, I think it's pretty far down the character sheet. So like these character sheets are like 6 pages long.
Yeah, I have the Tinker. So it's 2 pages and I don't see where. Can you guys just tell me how many max where boxes I should have and I'll keep track of that? Like, is it 4?
Is it the boxes next to the equipment? And because I have boxes next to dagger, staff, and chainmail. Dagger is 1 box, staff is 2 boxes, and chainmail is 3 boxes.
Oh, my equipment is a smithing hammer and leather armor. I got it. I got 2 boxes. Got it. Okay. Oh no, I can only do that twice. Okay. I marked where. I can do that one more time before I run out of potions and have to restock, which is fine because I have improvised weapon. I see. This character makes sense now. Hey, I'm going to have to make potions during the adventure. I really like that. Okay, now I'm going to roll cunning. I like this game so far. That makes sense. It's like the first game that has motivated me role-playing wise to create potions, so I like that. I rolled a 10 and I added 4. On a 10 plus, both they suffer morale harm and they're pinned or blocked. And I have this website, it's called Seventh Sanctum, and it's a spells generator. Is it okay if I describe it using a random spell?
Absolutely.
Oh no. Okay. Okay, so this website is brutal, and this one is called Evocation of Lava and Sadness.
What?
So what happens when I throw the potion is that lava and sadness happen. So I have encrusted in a burning case of basalt this possum amalgamation. And they're sad because, let's say, they can't escape because it says the second thing is they're pinned or blocked and they suffer morale harm. So maybe they feel defeated.
Yeah. So this potion just explodes and coalesces what looks like skirmish, but is probably many opossums in a skirmish coat. Just completely. But even from within, that porous, basalt rock, you can start to hear the wailing, keening cries of possums.
And what does it sound like?
Oh, I feel bad.
Don't feel bad, because almost as though in response to those cries, there's a thunk, thunk, kaboosh, as from below the floorboards where that one opossum had made a hole, there comes a giant opossum hand holding a katana. It pulls itself out of the basement through the floorboards and faces all of you. And it says, "Get away from my babies."
Oh no.
See, I told you they were down there and no one was paying attention to me. And look where we are now.
I think we woke the mama.
So in this game, the GM can't actually roll dice, but I can inflict injury, exhaustion, morale harm, and decay. But I feel like it's a little unfair to just be like, I don't have to roll to hurt you guys. So just for mechanics wise, what would you guys like to do? And then the mama possum will react to that.
I've got to ask Kit. Kit, you knew about these possums? Give us the 411.
Well, they're possums, they got knives. That's pretty much all you need to know. Yeah, that's it. So what Kit is going to do is gather up some of the playing cards which are down by his feet and throw them like a magician towards the main possum with the idea to do the move Confuse Senses. So it says, when you throw something to confuse an opponent's senses at close or intimate range, roll with finesse. On a hit, you're throwing them off balance. Blinded is what I'm going to go for, with the idea of going for the eyes.
Okay. Awesome. Go ahead and roll your 2d6 then.
All right, let's get some nice foley in there. Aha. So adding them together, so I got a 9 on the dice plus a 2 on finesse makes an 11.
Okay, so that is a hit. I think that's just you do succeed. Is there anything else in the move that it says you can do?
Let's see. On a 10 plus, they have to take time. Hang on. On a 10 plus, they have to take some time to get their bearings and restore their senses before they can act clearly again. So I imagine the playing cards kind of not quite slice him across the eyes, but you know when you accidentally poke yourself in the eye and your eyes just go all watery and painful? Yeah, kind of like that, but both of them.
Oh, yeah, that's unpleasant.
So the big possum is just kind of standing there kind of defensively, kind of like eyes streaming with water going, I don't know what's going on. That's defensive stance.
Yeah, definitely has held up that katana in both hands horizontally, like across the face, just trying to block any facial hits. So she definitely can't respond to that, but is on the defensive. The continuing cries of her babies are heard from the rock close to her.
I feel bad, but Barbara, I don't know.
No, they've got knives.
Oh, yeah. I think it's
how's Errol doing?
So, GM, one of the questions I could have asked is, like, did they have anything valuable? Did these skirmish opossums have anything valuable when I looked at them before, or...
Information.
Well, definitely valuable, but I will say what you have noticed is that while Possum Skirmish was drinking beer, they also had on, like, in their pocket, it looked like they had a glass jar of water.
Okay, so I have a possum, and it did scratch me pretty bad, but I've got it, right?
Yes, you do.
So I would like to hold my rapier threateningly at this possum, and I will say to the mother, I think we got a misunderstanding, and if you back off, I will release your possum child. And we can talk about this and find out what the real issue is here. Why are you invading us?
Okay, so go ahead and roll 2d6 on persuade an NPC. Add your charm modifier to that.
All right. It's a 7.
7. Okay. So on a 7 to 9, the NPC you're trying to persuade isn't sure, and I'll tell you what you need to do to sway them. So now that the initial flurry of the encounter has been paused, the mama possum clears away the water from her eyes and kind of like changes position for the katana. And she says, "You're just someone on 2 legs like everybody else. Why should I trust you?" Not you. I mean, I don't like you because you went and trapped my babies. That's not
fair.
cool.
Yeah, that's fair.
But you're going to need to earn my trust after you've gone and attacked them like this.
With that, he will continue he's not gonna he'll just continue to hold his position at the moment until he figures out what else is going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, over here. I've got a question. If we're doing the whole talky thing now, the skirmish.
Yes.
I'm assuming the real one is, well, where? Where is the real one? That's the way to do a question, yeah.
Skirmish is safe. You can at least trust me on that. We don't want him harmed. But I don't know if I can trust you. He's kept in a safe place.
All right, then next question. Why?
I think at this point I'll allow you to also roll on persuade an NPC.
Yeah, that's fair.
Or if you want to do trick an NPC, you can. You could also read a tense situation to better gauge the situation and figure out a better way to work through it.
And I feel like mechanically you're not charm based, right? So do you want help?
Correct, yeah. Well, if I go for trick or read a tense situation, they're both cunning.
Oh, good.
And I'm solid on those. So I'm just having a look at the little questions you can ask to see which is more useful. So I think maybe go for a trick an NPC.
Okay.
So do I roll that now and then we figure out what I say afterwards, or?
No. Why don't you role play it a little bit first, and then we'll see if that's convincing, or you trick them.
So look, seeing as we're talking now, okay, we've got. I mean, our friend is, just down there. You don't want anything to happen to your children. Not that we're saying we would, but there are quite a lot of adventurers just hanging out upstairs in the basement. Kind of all around. It's our home. So if things get worse, then things won't end well for anyone, especially you and the other possums. So we've got a lot of backup, and that's the trick.
Okay.
Because conveniently, we're probably the only ones in there.
At this point, yeah. Like, once Skirmish entered the guild hall, people were like, I'm not dealing with this.
Okay, so please. Uh-oh. No, I rolled a 4 on the dice and then 2 for cunning, so that's a 6. So
ooh, that's unfortunately a miss. This mama possum seems just way too focused on the fact that Errol is holding one of her babies and the others are trapped, and she's not quite thinking. She's not really paying as much attention to you, but she is still open to talking. And she says, even if you try and talk to me, there isn't going to be much that's going to happen here. I want my babies released first.
Oh, that's where I come in. I also have a rules question. I'm seeing in light gray font that the max that you can adjust a stat is +2, and I seem to have a +4 in my cunning after leveling up. So I'm just gonna ask the GM what to do about that real quick.
I'm going to say that's okay, because I did not see that when I was sending you guys level up information. So okay. I would say that's fine. Okay. I don't know. Like other people, go in, make your own house rules if you want. But we're going to roll with whatever you have on your character sheet based on the advancements I gave you is good for this game.
Okay, good. Whew. Okay, I'm a rules stickler, so I would have immediately removed 2 points if you were like, no, don't do that. I would be like, okay, they're gone. Okay, so I notice I have your babies captured in lava. And I'm going to say, can I use yeah, okay. Yeah, being imprisoned totally reeks. Skirmish and your babies both probably want freedom, huh?
Okay. And that's trick an NPC, persuade an NPC. I'm going to make you roll for this, but that's really good. That's pretty good.
I'm going to trust fate.
Ooh, okay.
Because
so you're going to be rolling with luck then.
Yeah. Now, luck is only a +1. It's not that I'm all that lucky. It's that I think negotiations are a fine art, and I don't think Barbara has that art, so the outcome really is entirely random.
Fair enough.
Okay, so I'm going to roll 2d6, because you never really know. I mean, I saw this movie, Bridge of Spies, was it called, with Tom Hanks? And I was like, wow, negotiation is so cool. I really admire that. And I'm thinking about Barbara, the high schooler, and I'm like, no. Is she a successful hostage negotiator? So I rolled a 9, and I have +1, so it is technically a 10. And on a 10 plus, fortune favors the bold. Your panache earns you a fleeting opportunity.
Good roll.
Okay. So your words seem to pierce through this mama possum's mind, and she doesn't quite put down the katana entirely, but she does face you, Barbara, and says, unfortunately, I do believe you're right. We're both in a bit of a basalt pickle here. If I take you to Skirmish and tell you everything about why we took him and what he's been doing for us, will you promise to free my children?
Yeah, right.
Errol
Majorly.
Errol will drop the one he's currently holding. and like smooth its fur out a little bit.
Okay, that one immediately scurries over to the mama possum. And this is a big possum. This is pretty much Errol sized. And the baby possum is a regular sized possum. And it scurries up onto...
kit-sized.
Yeah, kid-sized, exactly. It scurries up onto mama possum's back and nuzzles her a little bit. And she like pats it, says, "All right, follow me." And she goes down into the basement.
I will
I
follow.
feel like that Great Dane surrounded by all the Pomeranians.
So you guys get down into the basement and you see that there is this enormous, like, it's legit like a 10-foot diameter hole that's just dug into one of the walls of the basement. And Mama Possum says, "You'll have to keep this a secret. Let's go. Follow me." And she leads you through the tunnel.
I mean, I'm not sure how secret a 10-foot hole can be.
Well, nobody's followed us in here so far. I just assumed nobody knew.
I've got to give you snaps. This is a properly sized hole. And I, the giant Great Dane, like, relatively, I'm in a centaur. So, like, I feel comfortable that I don't have to squeeze into a narrow position. I step in.
So, I haven't met a possumkin before, and I'm curious where you learned your sword skills.
Well, there's a reason you haven't seen Possumkin. It's because there aren't any. We are possums. Just a little enhanced, I suppose is the word you might use. And it's like there is no like any kind of humanoid feature. Like the only feature is that she's huge and she can talk in common.
So, did you develop your own sword fighting style?
Well, with a little bit of help, yes. This is specifically Mama Possum style. And she like just does a little bit of like a cut and twirl. And then her little baby possum's like, "Woo, come on."
What is this baby possum's name?
Oh, this is Jeremy. Jeremy, say hello.
Hello,
Hi.
I'm Errol Corvidbow at your service, Jeremy.
Hello, Errol Corvidbow. It's nice to meet you. I mean, not really. I still don't like you. But it's polite manners to say it's nice to meet you. That's what I was taught.
I mean, don't take it personally. Errol tends to tackle everyone he meets the first time.
Or is that like a hug?
Sometimes, yes.
Yeah, sure.
I might have been a little overzealous this time.
And I don't know what overzealous means, but I don't like it.
Noted. I won't use that word again.
So you guys are now traveling through this tunnel. There are travel mechanics for this game. You guys need to decide how much exhaustion as a group you would like to mark off in order to get from the basement to wherever Mama Possum is leading you. If you, so if you mark fewer exhaustion than 3, which is the number of people in your group, you roll a -1 on your 2d6 roll to see like if you make it without incident. If it's equal exhaustion, you get a +0, but if it's additional exhaustion, you get a +1 for each one. So like if you decide to take collectively 4 exhaustion for this travel, you can get a +1 to your 2d6 roll. If you want to mark 5 exhaustion, it's a +2, et cetera, et cetera.
I have a maximum of 4 exhaustion spots. Just to let you guys know that 5, not an option for me necessarily. Do you guys have 5?
Yes.
I had 5, but I marked 1 already, so I'm at 4.
Yeah,
Okay.
so this would be like collectively as a group, so you can split the exhaustion amongst yourselves. So like so if you want to mark 3 exhaustion, one of you can each take 1 exhaustion. Does that make sense?
Oh.
I'm down to take 1.
Yeah, I can take 1 or 2, or I don't care.
Yeah, 1's good.
I'll take 2
All right.
because I don't have any moves that exhaust me. Like,
Okay.
I wouldn't add exhaustion to myself. Oh, the GM can, but like, does that make sense? So I'll take 2 so that,
Okay.
or we could fight something in the tunnels, which I actually personally like. If this were the do we fight something in the tunnels, I'd be like, yes, let's fight a thing in the tunnels. I want to be on the side of katana wielding possum mama. So I want to take 0 exhaustion. Actually, I've changed my mind.
Okay, so
then we may as well no one take any exhaustion.
Yes.
yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Okay, one person roll 2d6 and add a -1 to that roll.
Well, Barbara, I think is probably yours.
Okay, I'll do it on camera.
Your harebrained scheme this time round.
Okay, you guys can see my dice tray. Wow. So I'll roll the pink and the purple, okay? Oh, you saw that roll. Oh, you saw that roll.
That was a 2 and a 1.
Her plan works perfectly. You guys are taking a little bit more time than expected to get there. And Mama Possum at some point stops and says, "It's a trap." And out from the dirt walls springs a group of squirrels. And they go and attack all of you and Mama Possum. So I'm going to say with all of you attacked this way, you all mark 1 injury.
Oh, no.
But these squirrels burst out from the walls in a puff of dirt, and they just start chittering. "How dare you go and take these fire-breathing kittens? You're never going to make it back alive!" I
love them. Okay, so they said what?
How dare you take these fire-breathing kittens? You'll never make it back alive.
Are they hey guys, are they defending us or are they?
It seems it is unclear. You can roll to see if you'd like to read a tense situation, but you guys were harmed in this attack.
Oh, how dare you take these possums, fire-breathing kittens? No, wait, the possums were also injured. How dare you take these potions, How dare you take these hands, Kit, fire-breathing kitten.
You can go ahead and you can read tense situation if you'd like more clarity on this.
Is that the more fun option, or?
I think it would help us as players figure out what's going on.
Okay, that is cunning. My only stat. Should I be the one to roll?
Feel free.
Mine's 0, so.
All right. I'm using the purple and the pink dice so they can redeem themselves. Okay, so that's a 9 overall because of my busted +4.
Okay, so you get to ask one question for read a tense situation. Which
Okay,
one
you
would you
guys-
like to do?
Yeah, you guys pick it. I'm looking at page 10. The numbers are on the left inside of a red leaf, which is adorable. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 question options. What do you guys think?
I'm thinking either what is the biggest threat or who is in control here. I'm not sure which of those two would be more relevant.
Kit, narrow it down.
See, I was going to say go for what should I be on the lookout for,
That's also a good one.
because that's the closest to what's going on.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
Okay. All right. So what I say is, y'all are harsh. And I look around. What am I on the lookout for?
You are on the lookout for squirrels, actually. So
Yeah, of course.
no, so it's kind of hard to understand why they'd be like, "How dare you take these fire-breathing kittens," and yet still attack you. You kind of get the sense that even if their words might imply they're trying to like protect you, there's also another meaning to that where it could also be like, how dare you get another resource? How dare you get help, right? So based on the squirrel's actions instead of their words, it's more of like, you're reading this situation as there is a conflict here and we are a resource in this conflict. We are not actually the ones being attacked. I mean, you could be, obviously you already were, but you're not the focus.
Oh, okay, party members. So the squirrels are jealous that the possums have fire-breathing kitten power.
Well, we knew about the possums down here. We didn't know about the squirrels.
We're learning so much.
Yeah, there's a whole underground civilization here full of woodland animals. Bit strange.
I dig it.
No trees anywhere.
So, did the squirrels harry us and then like leave, or are they still here threatening this situation?
So they have they've essentially like caused you injury as collateral damage, but they are focusing on Mama Possum, and she's over there like 1v5ing these squirrels and like swinging her katana around, and her baby's like hidden himself on like her belly.
I pass initiative to my party members.
Yeah, I gotta say, like the hardest thing to adjust to with PBTA games is that there's no set initiative.
I have an ability called Rope-a-Dope. When you evade and dodge your enemy so as to tire them out, you can roll with finesse. And I'm wondering if I could... I don't want to harm the squirrels, but I want to try and distract them and get them away from Mama Possum and maybe tire them out, if that's possible. So I guess I would try to use... Well, but they're not focused on me. That's the issue.
Yeah, I would say you could do that as like a second action, but you'd need to use a move to get in there first.
Okay, I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Are they figures of authority? Are these
the
squirrels authoritative?
Okay. I get they have a leader, so there's some kind of authority there. I don't know if that helps you.
Okay, I got an idea. All right, so Errol, the only reason I asked that is because I have Rebellious, and I can recover exhaustion if I provoke a figure of authority into retaliation. And since I'm already trying to get their attention and get them against me, I would like to try to use... Let's see. I wanted to trick an NPC, but I don't actually have cunning. Oh, persuade an NPC with promises or threats. I can do that because I got charm. So I will say, the fire-breathing kittens would never help lowly squirrels. We are all about helping possums. Now get out of here before we have to harm you further. And I would like to try to make a roll for that.
Yeah, go for it. I feel like Kit might be having a little bit of a disagreement, perhaps, with Errol on that.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's at this point, Kit would probably want to try and back off from Errol at that point, just to go.
It didn't work. 7. I got a 7.
Okay. Yeah, so like 4 of the squirrels keep on fighting the Mama Possum, but the leader kind of like trots on over to you and looks up at you with its little hands on its little hips and says, "You fire-breathing kittens don't partner with anybody but yourselves. You're just other two-leggers. See? Look at him." And they point over to Kit and just says, "He's not even backing you on that."
No, I'm backing up.
So could I clear my exhaustion track, though, since I was being rebellious?
Hello, not all of us have 2 legs.
Oh, you're fine. You have 4. It's these other 2.
Okay.
Yeah, but the possums also have 4 legs.
It doesn't matter. Stop it. I'm the one in charge, and you're not going to say anything or get involved with the possums. This is our problem. You stay out of it.
Well, the thing is, we're not trying to. We're trying to get our friend back, and that's kind of what we're doing. We didn't even know you were here.
Friend? What friend? And from the I almost said from the skirmish, but like from the battle that Mama Possum is having, she just turns and like as she is trying to cut down another squirrel, she says, "Don't you tell them about it. You said it would be secret."
Oh, I thought you meant to keep the tunnel a secret.
I meant all of it a secret. Errol, I will say, I'll be, yeah, we'll squish it. Yeah, I'd say your exhaustion is cleared for at least like instigating. You know, you're trying to be rebellious by instigating.
Okay, thank you.
The squirrel gets closer to you, and especially to you, Kit, and looks up and says, "You wouldn't keep any secrets from these little woodland creatures like us, would you? What are they hiding? It could be a danger to the rest of us."
Well, we're just looking for a friend, and so we can take him back and leave you all in pieces.
This seems like a great opportunity for you to trick an NPC. Basic move, page 10.
Yeah, well, yeah, let's do that. I mean, that's mostly true. So what we'll do is say...
Maybe trying to like lie about that last part.
Yeah, so all we want to do is get our friend, and then we'll leave you to it, and then, I don't know, broker some sort of piece, and then, I don't know, we'll figure it out later.
Okay, go ahead and roll.
That's probably what we're going to end up doing.
I'll accept trick an NPC. I mean, it technically says when you trick an NPC to get what you want, right?
Yeah. There will be some sort of trick in there.
Adorable little kiwi bird. Even when he tries to lie, he's just telling the truth.
Yeah. So that's a 6 on the dice plus a 2 on the bonus for an 8.
Okay, so you can choose one of the 3 options down below.
So maybe go for the first one so they hesitate and you shake their confidence or weaken their morale. So maybe the response is like okay, maybe, you know, if they didn't know we were down here, then they can't have possibly agreed to help.
Yeah, not possibly. So yeah, the squirrel leader takes their hands off of their hips and instead crosses it in front of their chest, and they say, "Well, if you're here just to rescue your friend from those dastardly possums, then I suppose we can go and leave you alone for now. But we're going to watch you. We're going to make sure you're okay. Let us just deal with this mama possum first." And the leader goes over and snaps their little paw fingers and starts like chittering in a squirrel language you don't understand. And they back off. And the leader says, "We will wait for you at the crossroads clearing, and you must return there in 2 hours. Otherwise, we will wage war and fight against you."
Right. Where's that?
"Oh, it's just right over this way." And they all just continue down the tunnel that you guys were already going. And Mama Possum just kind of like falls behind and is clearly not trusting you as much anymore. But you guys eventually, after a few more minutes, pop up. There's another hole that's kind of been covered by like foliage camouflage. And you guys pop up out of the hole and you are in the crossroads clearing. It is a 20 diameter circle, rough circle, completely clear of trees, covered with grasses. And then there are 3 paths in front of you. To your left, the path looks a little bit wet, almost like it's waterlogged. The path in front of you has a barricade, multiple barricades across the road. And the path to the right looks to have had quite a lot of tracks running across it. So the grass is not so much, it's not more like a deer path like the other 2 paths are. The one to the right is very much like this gets heavy foot traffic, gets trodden. And the squirrels and the mama possum look to each other and they kind of have a small conversation. And Mama Possum comes back and says, "All right, we've come to a temporary agreement. I will lead you to your friend Skirmish, and we'll free him for you. But you must promise when you go back to the squirrels here at the crossroads that you do not tell them where we are."
Where are we on now? We're at the crossroads.
No, I meant where skirmish was being held.
Oh, that makes more sense.
Do we have a deal?
I think we can agree to that. It seems reasonable.
She heaves a heavy sigh and then beckons you to follow her down the well-trodden path. I need you guys to once again decide how much exhaustion you want to take for this particular travel. So every time you go from one location to another, you're going to have to travel. So keep that in mind. You can also, get back your exhaustion using some of your nature like Errol did. But do you guys want to expend any exhaustion for this travel?
If y'all want to mark some, I will mark 2 since I just refreshed my track.
Yeah, I don't mind marking 1. That's fine by me.
So that would
What's
bring us to
our
even.
nature on our character sheet? So, like, if I'm looking at the, I'm a horse, I'm a she, I'm a organized, I have massive packs,
look on the next page.
cheerful, I am drives.
So, as a tinker, you should either be a perfectionist or a radical.
I'm a
It's
perfectionist.
directly beneath you.
So when I'm a perfectionist, I clear... Oh, it says that. Clear your... Okay, sorry, I'm dumb. Clear your exhaustion track when I sacrifice others' interests to complete a project or craft. Oh. If I was a radical, I would clear my exhaustion track when I espouse dangerous ideas to the wrong audience. I'm just going to drag that over. Drag my little box over, my underlining thing. I'm actually a radical because of the past role-playing that I have done as Barbara.
Yeah.
When I espouse dangerous ideas to the wrong audience.
Yeah, no worries. If this were a long-running campaign, that might be a little bit more of an issue. But for this one-time game, that's perfectly good. And I think you are role-playing the Chaos Gremlin a little bit more.
a little bit. I just circled the wrong box there. Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
how much exhaustion are you guys expending as a group?
1 or 2? 1 or 2?
I think we're at 3
Okay.
between me and Kit, and if you do 1, then we'll be at 4.
All right, 1. 1 for me.
Okay, great. So somebody roll a d6 and add a +1 to that roll.
Oh, you mean 2d6, right?
Oh, yes. Thank you. Sorry.
See, we know how to play this game.
Would y'all like me to... Are y'all cool with me rolling? Is that fine?
Yeah, go for it.
Definitely not our first time.
I got an 8 plus 2 is 10.
Okay, great. So on a 10 plus, the trip is largely uninterrupted and especially fast. This is Mama Possum's home turf. She knows where to go. And she takes you maybe about like 5 minutes after walking down the trodden path off into another deer trail. So it looks like this path keeps going and it's a false trail. And she takes you onto the true path. And very quickly, you find your way in part of a forest where you have little huts, basically. And it's to fit these large-sized possums. And you have them all along the ground. You have some of them in trees, not a whole lot. But it seems to be a small, tight-knit community of opossums. As she returns, you can hear cries of, she's back. Oh, she's brought more kittens with her. Are they all right? So there's just a bit of a hubbub as she arrives.
More kittens. So we just all got replaced by possums in the above world, didn't we?
Well, we don't know that yet.
So, Mama Possum kind of waves around and is like, yes, go and alert one of the elders. I'll go and speak with them soon. And she once again turns to you. Remember, this place and the place I'm about to show you is a secret. Swear upon your fire-breathing kitten's tattoo.
I solemnly swear upon my fire-breathing kitten's tattoo that I will not reveal the location of the secret possum village.
It's okay, I'm really bad at directions anyway, so I couldn't find it if I wanted to. Where are we?
That's a great question.
try.
Oh my God, you'll try. I think so. Mama Possum turns to you, Errol, and says, "I trust you. You returned my poor Jeremy even after you gave an overzealous hug. And you're the only one to swear. So I'm relying on you to help keep your word and the word of your friends."
Legit. The deceiver of the group was all like, yeah.
I know.
It's a possum with a sword.
I mean, if you want, Errol could just go by himself, and then me and Barbara could just hang out here for a bit and I don't know, play cards. We're at something to do.
Totally.
I mean, we've all kind of seen it from afar, right?
Yeah, for sure. Do you guys want to do that? She's happy to leave Barbara and Kit in the company of her opossum village.
But thinking about it, if there's something else you want to keep secret, then the fewer people you tell about it, the more it stays a secret.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think you really need a persuasion to, have that logic be sound.
It's basically going, how about you don't show us all this big secret?
Exactly.
I mean, I'm willing to do it. I've done crazier things.
Yeah, let's split the party.
Yeah, let's split the party. This isn't other role-playing games. This should be fine.
Also, citing the previous thing where someone was like, what if Errol died within the first 10 minutes? We trying to get Errol killed?
Not on purpose.
All
right. So Mama Possum leads you, Errol, away from the village. So we're going to go to you first, and then we'll flash back over to Barbara and Kit. It's a little bit of a ways off, and the cover from the trees.
Should we take our headphones off?
No, I don't know.
I'll forget everything I hear anyway.
I think this might be like a little long, so I'll leave it up to you guys. I don't think you guys need to take your headphones off.
Okay.
Yeah. This might be entertaining anyway. So, she leads you to this much thicker part of the forest where, the sunlight disappears and the whole place is covered in shadow. And she leads you deep into the brush, so tall that it covers both of you with an extra foot above you. And deep in that brush, there is another hole in the ground. Still pretty big, surprisingly, but only maybe about 5 feet in diameter this time. And she leads you down into this hole. And it's only a few minutes of walking until you get to this big, grand, open space underground that seems to have been tunneled. And there you can see Skirmish Killington sitting at a little table and seated on the ground. And he's got a deck of playing cards and a pint of ale. And he's playing against what looks to be another possum.
Oh, Skirmish, it's good to see you're safe.
Ah, Errol. I didn't expect to see you here. And I know my accent's not great. We're pretending it's incredible. This is actually Skirmish.
Perfect accent.
So perfect. Yeah.
Sounds exactly the same to me.
It sounds exactly the same. Yes, exactly. What brings you down here?
We were concerned about you. We saw a possum doppelganger and got into a fight with the possum Skirmish, and you lost your foot, and some David Cronenberg-inspired graphics happened, and there was a keening and wailing of possum babies, and it was horrifying. But we were really concerned about your well-being, and we wanted to make sure you were okay and find out what was happening.
Oh, well, that's really kind of you to go and do that, Errol. I couldn't say I wouldn't have done the same thing in your shoes. But it's very nice of you to come and find me. You said keening of possum babies.
They're not harmed. They were just very sad and imprisoned.
Oh, Yes, well, I can imagine being sad and imprisoned would make you wail. Well, so you found me. It's, I guess I'm a little confused still about why you thought I'd be in danger. Even if there was a weird skirmish going around, I can still hold my own, you know?
I mean, clearly there's some issue that needs to be dealt with, or they wouldn't need to impersonate you. So if we get to the root of this problem, then they won't need to pretend to be us.
Us? There's been more? I thought for sure I was the only one. I had them promise to have me be the only one.
If I get you some more ale, will you tell me what's going on here?
Absolutely.
Because I have no idea what's happening. There was a squirrel opossum turf war, and we got injured. Like,
so with another pint of ale, Skirmish tells you everything he knows. So basically, shortly after he had sent you guys off to go and deal with the magic problem, he had gone and investigated this weird possum problem that had been spoken about earlier. And he had found the giant hole in the basement and gone and explored and eventually found this possum village. And they tried to subdue him, but he said he didn't want to go and try and kill anybody, just try and get some understanding. And eventually he learned that the possums and the squirrels were at war because the squirrels were trying to subjugate the possums. And the possums, being solitary creatures, didn't actually know how to fight. And so they have kept him here, and he's basically been teaching them how to fight, how to defend themselves, and all of that. And he says, now, I still don't know why they're fighting. Something about resources is just what they keep saying, but they keep a lot of the conflict. Oh, God, I'm going Skyrim, Scandinavian. They keep a lot of the conflict.
Skyrim belongs to the possums.
I need a meme of that now. But they keep the conflict pretty well under wraps. And they still don't trust me enough to go and tell me what I'm helping them with. But from what I've seen of those squirrels, I don't think they're in the wrong. The possums, I mean.
So this open area, is it just a clearing in the forest?
You mean the village itself?
No, the area we're in right now where we find Skirmish playing cards.
Oh, yeah, it's just dense forest. Yeah, and then you're underground right now.
So the underground area, does it seem to be like a mine or like just a tunnel?
No, it's just a tunnel that other woodland creatures have dug out. Yeah. So while you're thinking about that, Errol, we'll go and switch over to Barbara and Kit. While you're at the possum village, you can see there's a lot of curious eyes. And there are some people like holding possums holding hammers, axes, makeshift short swords, and spears. And they're all watching you rather curiously, but they do end up coming up to you and saying, "Are you here to help us with the war too?"
Well, we were only here to, get our friend back because he kind of turned into a load of possums. And as you can imagine, that threw up a few questions that we needed answered.
Wait, so the secret possum doppelganger mecha technique worked?
Well, for a bit. Until, he has to move anywhere.
Ah, yes. The coordination has always been the hardest part.
I mean, if you want to, talk about improvements to a doppelganger mech, all you need to do is do kind of a, reverse housing joints so that you don't end up with the knees bending backwards. It's simply a one-way kind of a thing. But you don't want to hear about that. I'm probably shouldn't, add war machines to my
Please,
my
tell us more. And there's like a subgroup of the possum village now just around you, Kit, being like, how could we possibly introduce a single direction for the joints? There's less flexibility for our other possums making it up. And
no,
so they just start
attention.
Yeah, they just start like asking you like questions, and you come to realize these possums are actually like technically intelligent. Like they know what they're doing.
Okay, well, it's fine. As you can see, the knees bend both ways, like forward and backwards. Normally, they don't bend. They only bend one way. Otherwise, it's a broken limb. So, if we maybe put a screw in here and gonna go, and look, it stops bending that way, which makes it a bit more realistic. And then, look, you probably want to avoid having a load of possums at each end. So if maybe just have and we'll just talk technical things. I don't want to have to make stuff up for the next 15 minutes.
No, that's awesome. A couple of possums come to you, Barbara, and they're like looking up at you.
Oh, I just want to know, wait, before we move on to me.
Yeah.
Does Kit have jury rig?
Ooh.
I ought to, yeah.
Ooh, that's good. Yeah, good catch.
Yes.
Would you like to use that to try and improve their doppelganger mecha?
Well, I think in as a point of pride rather than actually wanting to help the war. more of a, I can improve this, so it would.
Yeah, go ahead and
roll. It would annoy
roll.
me if I didn't. All right, so let's give that a roll. Oh, that's handy. I rolled 2 6s.
Oh, wow.
So that's 14.
That is great success. I know that they have like specific things that you can do on a 10 plus, but like that's basically a crit success. Yeah, you are able to jury rig this entire doppelganger mecha that they're working on, and it basically just looks like skirmish again as they're piling in. And a couple of them, maybe like 2 or 3, start making improvements on their own based on your direction. So you're now tutoring and teaching some of these possums how to improve the doppelganger mecha.
Boy, I hope this isn't going to come back to bite us later.
Yeah. So, Barbara, there are a couple that come up and say, "Oh, I've never seen someone so large on 4 legs. All of the large creatures have been driven out since who knows when in this forest. Where are you from?"
Oh, I'm from Nicomoy. I'm a potion maker. See, this is a potion of spectral flesh lance, and this is a potion of gush of voidness and possession, and this is a potion of invocation of seek unholy joiner. And this is copper negation, and this one is the 5 chance of the golden shackle, the 80 chance of consumer killing. I just want to shout out to seventhsanctum.com. I love these. The 80 chance of consumer killing. Is that like when you're giving out food for free at like a Costco, right? You got 80 chance of consumer killing. And if you can convince them to take your sample hot dog snip, the tiny bit of the hot dog.
Oh my God.
Anyway, the door of intoxication.
Oh my gosh.
Temples of distant devouring.
Yeah, they are just in awe of all of these potions you have. Well, we've never heard words like that before. For potions, at least. Can you show us what they do, how you make them?
Sure, I can try to make one based on the local ingredients that you have down here that I haven't seen before.
Okay, so they go and bring you a sprig of holly. Well, not a sprig because it's not winter. It's a branch of holly. And they also bring you some berries that you don't know the name of. They just called them good berries. And the last thing they bring you, they handle it with a lot of care. And you can see it's a small bottle of water. And they say, "Now this is our most precious possession. But if it can be used in alchemy, it, I think, would be rather powerful. Come and take this clean well water." And they go and give it to you.
This seems kind of like a healing one. So I'm going to click random a few times until I get like something other than endless barbs. And then, okay. All right. Okay. All right. So I mix them all together. and I say some words, and I boil them for a certain amount of time, and then I distill the essential oils, and then I create the blessed invocation of the ultimate hearers.
Interesting.
And the fun thing about potion making is you never really know what it's going to do until you use it. So I hand it to them.
Okay. I'm just going to write that down for reference.
Improvised weapon. So I got a roll on it. And it's so it happens, and then the improvised weapon has you do weakness tags or not. So this is kind of fun. So I'll roll. Okay, 4 is super broken, and I should not have done this because nothing can ever fail on cunning rolls for me. So yeah, I hit, and there are no weakness tags, but you can tell me the range tag and at least one other tag based on the materials I used. And I don't see tags on the player side of things. Is tags on the GM side?
I think so. Okay. I will admit I'm not very, I didn't really see tags mentioned much at all. At least in the quick start. They might go more into it in the full game.
All right, well, you could just make something up. So it's got a tag and a range, and it's called the Blessed Invocation of the Ultimate Hearers.
The Ultimate Hearers. Okay. And so it's a range and just a general tag, you said? We'll see if that becomes relevant. But until you use it, you won't know. It could be anything. But they are amazed, and especially with giving the well water, there were a lot of opossums that were kind of gathered around to see what you'd create, and it's just this beautifully translucent, bluish hued water, right? It almost looks, it's like the color of blue in like tropical shallow waters. Very calming and very nice.
Nice.
So, yeah, so we'll circle back to Errol finishing off your conversation with Skirmish. Skirmish says, "Now, I don't quite know what it is you all want to do, but I did promise these opossums that I'd stay here and train them until their war was done, and I don't really want to break my word."
There's no need for you to come with us. We were trying to get to the root of the problem that required you to be doppelganged.
Yes, well, I think I'm surprised they went and tested it at the Fire-Breathing Kittens Guild Hall, but that really was something where I allowed them to take, measurements and to basically base their mecha off of me, since I'm, pretty strong and powerful, if I do say so myself.
GM.
Mm-hmm.
So earlier, I had noticed that the Skirmish doppelganger had a vial of water on them. Do I see this vial on anybody else, in the area?
I would probably say the only other person you see it on is Mama Possum.
I will look to Mama Possum and I will say, would this war have anything to do with this vial of water I have seen on you and your baby's person?
She looks at you with surprise and then a little bit of horror, and she says, "How did you know?"
It seemed valuable, and Skirmish alluded to a war over resources, and I'm guessing that this might be the resource that you're having conflict over.
Well, yes. I can go and tell you and your friends about it if you've gone and figured it out already. And now that you know that Skirmish is not being harmed and is kept safe, maybe now you'll be more willing to go and help us, or at the very least make sure that you don't interfere.
Yes, I think we should, Skirmish, I hate to run out on you, but I believe we need to reconvene with my other party members, and you had a nice game of cards going, so I'm just going to go reconvene with them, and so we can discuss this situation and see how we can help.
Oh, no worries. I was almost winning, so I'd love to get back to it. But good luck. Let me know how it goes. how it goes. Well, he wishes you good luck.
With that, I will head back in the direction we came. Hopefully, I guess Mama might follow me, maybe?
Yeah, Mama will definitely will lead you back. And when you enter the village, you can see that Barbara's just finished making a potion. Kit's just finished helping make a new skirmish. And
better than the original.
Yes. Mama Possum will gather you all together and tell you the tale of this war right after this break.
Yeah.
Today, we have been joined by Errol Corvidbow.
Errol stares off into the distance and hears the wailing and screaming of possum babies.
Kit / Parakitsa something, sorry.
You know, it's probably a good thing Errol turned up because, I mean, one more polite bit of conversation in it and we'd be telling them how to split the atom.
And Barbara Anjali.
This can't possibly go bad for us. Didn't we have a review?
Yeah, we have a review. Sorry.
Yeah, before we go, let's read it.
All right. So Spudbud87 left us a 5-star review and said, the players are amazing and so fun to listen to. Harvest Hijinks was a vegetable-packed adventure, although there was a distinct lack of potatoes. Aside from that, it's great. If you like our podcast, leave a review on wherever you get your podcasts, whether it's iTunes or Spotify. It helps people find our episodes.
Yeah. Come on back and listen to the rest of this one. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Today's mid-episode shoutout is from PXIK, who says, quote, The Wicked Empire Podcast. Using the Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition game system, Dungeon Master Jared Logan crafts a stunning original adventure where no one meets in a tavern and everyone has a license to kill. Set on a remote tropical island full of exploding buildings, shattering glass, and gravity-defying martial arts, Wicked Empire is a summer blockbuster of a D&D 5e campaign that makes a Michael Bay film look like a church service. Starring Sydney Emanuel, Ross Bryant, Claire Grant, and Nora Ibrahim, new episodes of Wicked Empire air every Monday night at 8 p.m. EST on twitch.tv/theglasscannon. I was so good until the end there. Twitch.tv/theglasscannon. All right, end quote. You can arrange for us to read your shout-out at firebreathingkittenspodcast.com through our partnership with Buy Me a Coffee. We have paperback, ebook, hardcover, and audiobook adaptations of our adventures on Amazon and Audible. Lastly, we don't pay to advertise our show, so the only way we can grow is if you tell someone about us. Thank you.
Welcome back to this Fire Breathing Kittens episode. Since I've not gotten to roll any dice this entire game, I'm going to roll a d6 to determine who gives us our summary of our first part. Kit, looks like it's you.
Oh dear. Yeah, so we started out in the guild hall. I was playing with my hands. That sounds weird. No. I was showing off my hands. Yeah, that works. And Skirmish was outside. He's one of the old guard from last year. He was making a big old ruckus and drinking, and we brought him inside, and then he fell over and turned into a load of possums. And then we fought the possums very, very briefly, and then a big mama possum turned up, and we turned it into a stalemate. She brought us downstairs, and there was a big secret tunnel that no one had noticed before. And then we followed her down because she said that she'd tell us what happened to Skirmish. And then we got attacked by squirrels, and then somehow got out of that. And then we turned up and found the possums kind of clearing. And then Errol went off to talk to Skirmish, and I helped build mech suits, which might have been a mistake. We'll see. And yeah, we kind of let things off with Big Mama Possum about to tell us how the war actually started between the possums and the squirrels.
Perfect.
See, I was paying attention.
You were paying attention.
For once, I was paying attention.
I mean, luck is on your side, I guess. I mean, I rolled a die. I didn't single you out. Great. Yes, that is an excellent recap of the first part. And so now all three of you are together. Since you all were listening to each other's parts, we'll do just a quick, you guys caught up and know everything everybody else knows at this point. And Mama Possum, with all of the other possum people, gather around you and tells you the story of how this war started. And I'm not going to do the accent because that's going to be a lot of work for me. So I'm just going to relay it in my GM voice. But basically, a few months ago, the squirrels who had been living rather peacefully alongside the rest of the woodland creatures suddenly changed. They basically started camping out in one particular part of the forest and wouldn't let anybody else go there. But the problem is this particular area of the forest is where everyone got some fresh water. So this forest, you find out, is right next to the Emu River. And a lot of the animals would get their water from the Emu River, but some other animals, those who are further away from the river, would go to this well instead. Until the squirrels basically started monopolizing it and attacking anybody who came near. And so tensions only worsened once the Emu River water became, for some reason, undrinkable. And it's been a huge problem in the forest where a lot of the river life has either died or escaped the river to find someplace new to live, or everyone else who needs water just goes to this well. And since that's happened, the squirrels have been defending this one area of the forest and forcing woodland creatures to basically pay for water. And so at this point, Mama Possum says, "Do you know what it's like to have to pay for water? Something that is a given right for everything that lives upon this earth. There's nothing worse than having to figure out, one, what you actually have to pay with. They didn't actually ever say anything about that. They just wanted us to give them anything valuable. And so, though most of the other woodland creatures have since left, we have decided to stay and fight. This water is for everybody, especially if the Emu River is no longer a good source of water for all of us. So many people, or so many animals have been displaced. And we do not want to be displaced either."
So, has anyone done any investigation as to where if there's a possible way you could dig a well to the same source? Is that possible?
We've once tried to do that, but it seems as though the squirrels have gone and dug multiple tunnels. We don't know which woodland creatures have helped them, but they've all barred off any kind of path we could take to get to the aquifer beneath.
The two possible solutions that I can think of off the top of my head would be, one, fire-breathing kittens take over the well and we're forced to be the arbiter of who gets water. Because a neutral party, right? And then the second option would be we find a second access source to the aquifer. That way the possums and the squirrels have equal access and it's not a monopoly. What do you guys think?
Third option, we let the possums live in the Guildhall basement, which is of unknowable infinite proportions, and we just run a tap from the bar for that water.
I am suspicious. I don't have any proof of this, and maybe you can help us find out. But I'm suspicious that the change that these woodland creatures have underwent is that this water has gained them some form of sentience that they didn't have before.
Have you guys always been real Einsteins?
Well, there definitely is a change, but we don't really know exactly how that happened. If what you're asking is if we've always been this smart, then no. But that's part of the reason why Skirmish is so important to us. He's been helping us become smarter.
Uh-oh.
When did you begin building huts in a village?
Right around the start of the war. We are normally solitary creatures, but with the squirrels encroaching on every part of the forest, we decided to band together.
Were the ones who began the initial banding together the ones who also discovered the source of the water?
The water has always been known to us. It is a very common well that everyone in the forest uses for water, if not the river.
So it's the conflict that led you to band together and not necessarily the water source, it seems.
Aye, that's correct.
Well, would you be open to a new source of water that is under negotiation?
Go ahead and roll for persuade an NPC.
Can I help?
Yeah, how do you want to help?
Proposing a method. Do collection. DEW. DEW collection.
Okay, I was about to be like, dues, you want them to become, you want them to charge too?
So I'm going to help, right, on page 10. Okay, I'm going to mark exhaustion. And then because you're my friend, I can mark 2 exhaustion to give you +2, I think, on the friends section. And maybe, if the GM allows that, it's in the friends section.
Yeah, let me look that up real quick. Yeah, I'll allow that.
So a +2?
Yeah, that was on page... Does it not have a page? It's on character creation, and it says connections, friend. When you help them, you mark 2 exhaustion to give +2 instead of 1 exhaustion for +1. Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone in FBK is friends.
All right, so with that, I rolled an 8, and I got +1 charm and +2 on top of that, so that's 11.
Very nice. So all of the opossums in the village hear your solution, and they start talking to each other. Oh, another source of water. That'd be so helpful. How do we know we can trust them and they won't turn on us? But Mama Possum holds up her hands and says, I know you all are worried. I was worried too. But the fire-breathing kittens, some of them have been rather helpful and honest. I think we should hear what they have to say. So she turns to you and says, can you explain? And then all of a sudden there's a horn sound and all of the opossums turn. Quick, to your battle stations! And they all run off towards the perimeter of the forest. Mama Possum turns to you all. The squirrels are attacking. They must have followed us. Quick, can you please help us defend our home?
Of course.
Only if I can pilot the mech suit. you gotta take it for a test drive, you know?
The handful of possum tinkerers who are working with you usher you into the chest cavity of the skirmish doppelganger mecha, and then they fill the arms and legs.
Errol will find a place to hide so he can do some sneaky stuff when the army arrives. I would say not outside of the village, but like on the outskirts. So when they first enter, he can kind of maneuver behind, hopefully. Okay. And I can roll for that if you'd like.
Yeah, that looks like attempt roguish feats.
Okay. So finesse. I took one from a different class, which was Ranger for my advancement. When you attempt roguish feats relying on stealth, you can mark exhaustion to choose 1 fewer from the list. So I'm going to roll first, and then I might use that, depending on how this comes out. Ooh, that was really good. I got an 11, and I got finesse as +2.
Awesome. Very nice. So that is definitely a hit. On a 10+, you can choose one of the 3 options, which is more of like it's a bane that you have to choose for your action.
Now, do I still get, because this thing says I can mark exhaustion to choose 1 fewer item, can I still use that?
Yeah, you can, in which case you don't have to pick any of them.
All right, that's what I'm going to do.
Awesome. So Errol disappears off into the underbrush while Kit gets up into the mecha. Barbara, what are you doing?
Realizing that truly the conflict is not between squirrel or possum, but rather between thirsty and the lack of water, I'm not engaging in combat. I'm building things. And I'm like a potion maker, so I'm trying to make a cauldron. A really big cauldron, because dew collection in my mind is funneled through my personal experience of I make cauldrons. So or I could try to make like a polymer and like a cellophane dew collection system. That might work better. So I'm fiddling with stuff.
Okay, cool. You can be towards the back of the village where it's a little bit more protected and away from the actual fighting.
It's okay if I'm not too, because I am 7 feet tall. I am the Great Dane amongst Pomeranians, so if I get injured, it kind of goes with the territory of just being big and there.
Fair enough.
I mean, let's face it, are they actual like squirrel-sized squirrels?
Yeah, so the squirrels are squirrel-sized squirrels. The possums just seem to be a lot bigger.
So just think about how large the squirrels' weapons are going to be. They're probably not going to do damage to an actual horse.
Yeah, so I'm okay
Right.
with, yeah. So I'm trying to like look at my mechanics and see some way that I can build something. I do have it says I have workshop stuff. When I dedicate myself to making a thing or to getting to the bottom of something, decide what and tell the GM will give you between 1 to 4 conditions that I must fulfill to accomplish my goal, including time taken, materials needed, help needed, and the limits on the project. So it might be like a 4-turn quest that I am embarking on.
Yeah, which is interesting to think about considering that there is no formal turn order or anything in this game. So we'll wing it. So
Yeah.
I think it would definitely take... So you're going with the cauldron?
No,
Okay.
because that's not a water collection system. That's a water transmutation system. I should go for like an inverted bottle collection system, right?
Yeah.
So what I'm doing is I'm putting, so if you've ever dug a hole and put cellophane over it and then put a bottle or a bowl in the bottom of the hole, that's a way to collect water from your environment when you're out in the woods. And being a master of glassworking, there we go. Barbara knows about how glass gets condensation on it. And so she's got a lot of holes nearby. There's a big 5-foot hole. So she goes to that and she's going to be like, let's put a dome over this hole and a bowl in the middle of it and like a string from the top of the dome down to the bowl. And we'll collect some water. That's going to take a while. And that's going to need
take
a skirmish help because I can't lift nothing. So
Yeah. So,
but it does
Yeah,
involve glass. Yeah.
yeah, if you want to do that during this this war, this battle, feel free. I working towards the solution.
I mean, if you wanted, you could get even more picky than that, GM, and argue that because we're underground, the temperature is fairly constant. Therefore, because condensation only forms due to temperature changes overnight,
That's true.
you wouldn't necessarily get nearly as much condensation as you would if it were above ground.
That's true. I'm going to have to add some temperature fluctuation.
But then again, it's a fantasy world. We've got talking possums. Who knows how physics works?
No. I can build a campfire. I can make like a chimney going on here to funnel the heat.
Give you a few more things to do at the very least.
Yeah. All right. So that gives me like turns. And then I'll make a roll each turn for how good I am at each stage of the process. Temperature fluctuation.
Yeah.
Glass shape. It's got to be the right shape. It's got to be like an arch, you know. And then
Okay.
skirmish lifting stuff into place without dropping it on a possum.
Yeah. So, okay. So
Right.
here's how we're going to do this. I'm going to institute a turn order because I don't think there's at the very least every time. So after Errol and Kit take their turns, we'll have you roll, Barbara. Okay.
All right.
So we'll do it that way. Errol, Kit, you don't necessarily have to follow a turn order. Just know that you have to do something so that Barbara can then do her thing. So you guys are basically you're going up against these squirrels and holding the line against them as Barbara's working on her solution for the water problem.
I'm writing stuff down.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I trust you. I trust you for this. We're going to have like a full-on actual system that works by the end of this game. Okay. So we're going to go to Errol and Kit. You guys are getting up to the front lines. And I mean, they're squirrels, right? How much danger could they possibly pose? There are multiple large, so imagine it as like, okay, so you know how in some fantasy games you have like a swarm of rats?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This is a swarm of rats, but it's in the form of a warthog, basically. So it's like these big pigs that are literally made like of squirrels. Like the squirrels are working together to make this. So it's not like the mecha. It is like they've actually come together as individuals to make this warthog entity. And there are a good handful of those marching towards the village, and then other individual squirrel soldiers holding lances, and you can see that they're tipped in something colorful.
So when we got attacked before, there was a leader squirrel that I attempted to instigate an altercation with. Where is this individual on the battlefield? Do I see them?
They appear to be riding atop one of the squirrel warthogs. So, like other combats we've done today, I will leave it to you guys to start off with your actions, and then I will react as the GM in this battle scenario.
And I have sent my proposed 4 stages of dew harvesting in the chat.
I think from a tactical standpoint, maybe, Errol, we should send you out to negotiate, because there's always a bit of a standoff right at the beginning of one of these, just to try and avoid like total carnage if we can. And you're the talky one.
I kind of wanted to like see if I could get into position to take out their leader, but to do that I would need to remain hidden. Although I do have an ability that it lets me slip back into the shadows if I want to.
Yeah, well, I'm sure if fighting breaks out, it'd be quite easy to slink off. People don't tend to pay that much attention when a sword's aiming for their head.
Okay. These possums, do they have possum equivalent of horses or like a means of conveyance? Or do they just walk everywhere?
They basically walk everywhere, although there are a number of them up in the trees. And you do have the skirmish doppelganger mecha. But that's about it. They're not cavalry based.
All right. Well, as they are getting close, Errol will jump from the shadows and stand in front of the leader with his hands up to see if he can like stop them to talk for a second.
Okay. The squirrel leader stands atop the squirrel warthog head and holds up a small paw. Halt, it says. And then looking at you, Errol, again, puts its hands on its hips. What do you want?
So before I try to say something, can I try to figure someone out?
Yeah. Go ahead and roll for that.
So essentially I want to get, if possible, I want to get information on how I can negotiate better with this squirrel.
Okay.
Meanwhile, can I read a tense situation?
Yes, you may.
Because I believe that is what I would describe this as. Okay, so that's a 9 for reading that.
Okay, so one of the questions.
Yeah, I would probably like to go, who or what is most vulnerable to me?
Okay. So, Errol, trying to figure out this leader squirrel, you said you wanted to see how you could negotiate?
Yeah, I was using the move figure someone out, and I rolled a 6, and I rolled really poorly.
Okay, yeah. So you can't really read their intentions. They definitely seem violent. But based on Mama Possum's story and the way that the army is holding themselves, it's definitely hard to tell if there's anything that could stop this conflict. It seems like it was building up to this battle for a while. Kit, reading the tense situation, you can see that those who are most vulnerable to you in terms of being in the Mecca are actually the warthogs themselves. Though they are large, they are not very maneuverable. And so it would be easier to go after these warthogs rather than the individual squirrels.
So, GM, sensing that I might not be able to make ground in a negotiation, Errol will use this opportunity to try to... essentially, I'm going to speak to him, and I'm going to say, "Oh, great squirrely one, we do not wish to disturb the peace of your well, and we only wish for the possum people to live in peace in this forest. But I'm going to go and try to make it as long and drawn out as possible while, polishing his ego as I'm going."
Okay, so trying to buy time.
Yes,
basically.
essentially.
I'm going to actually have you also roll for trick and NPC. And while you're doing that, Barbara, they've both taken a turn apiece. So you can go and roll for your first stage, which is forming the condensation glass dome.
Yes. And if you guys listening at home want to look this up, it's called a solar still. And it's legit a survival technique. If you're in the wild and you've got a sheet of plastic or a spare plastic bag, you dig a hole and you make picture like a glasses lens, how it's round. You make it bowl size, like concave down into the ground, I don't know how to describe this. Anyway, so the thing that I need to do first is build the glass condensation dome. So what I'm doing is I'm getting my bottles out and I'm using magic to use all of my spare bottles, and I'm magically reshaping them, making a big old satellite dish that's going to be 5 feet in diameter for this 5-foot skirmish hole. Maybe. So that's what I'm trying for this time.
Okay.
If you look at the solar still diagram, it's the tarp in the solar still, or the plastic sheet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And its lowest point is in the middle, and it's downward. So the water is actually collecting from the underside of this bowl.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to try to roll cutting. I don't know. Yeah.
Honestly, it kind of seems like the best stat of all of them.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Because it's my best stat too. That's a 10.
Okay. Yeah. So your first step is successful.
Yay. And if you guys want to pass it off to me more often, there are 4 things I have to do.
Yes. Which portion of this battle is going to be our regularly scheduled broadcast? Okay, cool. So Barbara's going in on the solar still. What did you roll, Errol?
I rolled an 8, and it says choose one. So I would like to choose they overreact, take +1 forward against them.
Okay.
Can I give that to Barbara instead of taking it for myself?
I don't think you can.
Don't worry.
So
I'm only good at one thing.
Okay.
That's cunning.
Instead of that, then I will say they stumble and you gain a critical opportunity.
Okay. So the squirrel, due to your flattery, kind of has started to somewhat ignore the battlefield. But everybody is still at a standstill, but he's just kind of like sitting there smiling, really enjoying just like all of the empty words that you're throwing at him. And so Kit, this can open up an opportunity for you or any of the other possums to basically go in and start attacking the squirrels, taking them by surprise.
I'm so glad you mentioned that, because I was thinking that whilst I'm in the mech, if I swap over my stats for finesse and might, so instead of my +2 on finesse, it goes to a +2 for might and then 0 finesse, with the idea that if I'm in a big clunky mech, then I'm not going to be quite as, but it's more of a smashy smash.
Yes, I completely agree with that.
Right?
Exactly. Skirmish like breaks stuff. He hits things. Yeah. I will allow that. That makes sense.
So with that in mind, I think it's only fair that I roll to wreck.
Yes, absolutely.
So
wreck with your mech.
Roll with that with some might. Wreck with mech. Please. Oh, yes. Hang on. I don't want it.
Oh, wow.
There's a 6 and another 6.
Nice.
That's excellent. Okay. Well, I mean, it just says like on a hit, you seriously break it. It can't be used again. Until it's prepared.
Well,
you
I
rolled
think
2 6s,
yeah,
so I kind of want to give you more.
Yeah. Well, in my head, I was aiming for the warthog their leader was sat on. Mm-hmm. With a big kick.
Yeah. Why don't you paint that picture for us?
So as their leader, I'm imagining it's a red squirrel, and the rest of them are kind of grey and black squirrels.
Yes.
As he's kind of like sat there, just pondering what to do, there's this like big hulking 8-foot skirmish that just starts towering like the Iron Giant, just clumbers over and just hoofs a great like metal foot over at it, and it kind of makes contact right kind of in the midriff of the squirrel based warthog, and it just sends like bowling a strike, it just sends them all flying.
Yes.
Maybe sends the leader like careering against like the back wall of the cave and like just hit it, like smacking against the side.
Absolutely. You kick that warthog so hard, there are 3 frames just to show it.
and then everyone else has a separate reaction shot, which kind of cuts in over the top.
Exactly. Ching, ching, ching. Nani? And all the squirrels just go flying. And the leader is shouting as they're thrown back, attack!
So, GM, I have a question for you.
Yes.
So that nose for gold ability I have, it says when you figure someone out, you can always ask even on a miss. So for this squirrel that I was trying to figure out, does it have anything valuable on it? Or what is what does it have anything most valuable on it?
Yeah, you'll see that there's a key on its belt, and it is wearing a belt.
But no clothes.
But no clothes. Belt. Yeah, exactly. Just a utility belt.
Like Batman.
Yes.
Okay, so do we need to give Barbara a turn? I didn't know if I had went. Okay.
Yeah. With like fast-paced music, we cut from this like incredible like scene to another incredible but of a different type scene.
Now we learn about Bernoulli's principle. Science segue. Okay, so I'm using a fire because, as you've noticed, a solar still requires the sun, and we're underground. So we've got to use an external energy source, and that's going to be a fire. And I've sent you this diagram of Bernoulli's principle. So you've got a tube, and this tube starts out really wide, right? We've got a fire, and we've got a chimney. And then the tube gets narrower. And narrower means that the individual lines going through that part of the tube have to like shoot through it faster. And higher speed of flow means lower pressure. So that means we can have a second line there, and it'll get sucked in because of Bernoulli's principle, higher speed of flow, narrower pipe. You got that second? It's basically we've got the ability to suck air in. So we can pull in air from elsewhere in the cave using this fire and funnel it through the dome area, that whole thing going on, to have a source of, basically, water doesn't come from nowhere. We've got to have a source of damp cave air, and that's how we're sucking in this damp cave air to make our system.
Okay.
I
So,
hope I've explained that. And there's a diagram if you guys want to look up Bernoulli's principle.
yeah. So, also, side note, Bernoulli's
this
principle
is-
is how a plane flies.
It is.
This is basically the equivalent of Barbara doing homework while there's a house party downstairs.
Yes.
She hears all these like crashes and commotion and screaming, and she's like, "Okay, carry the one."
Awesome. So I will ask you for a cunning roll, and I'm
Okay.
going to do a might roll to have Skirmish help you dig this. Because I want to roll dice too.
Okay, I got an 11 because I really shouldn't have gotten a +4 cunning. Whoops, sorry.
That's okay. Skirmish got a 9, so that's just going to take one extra turn. So you're directing him, and he's he's doing his best, but he doesn't get it quite right sometimes. So you have to go in and fix it. So it's going to be an extra turn. And then we can move on to step number 3.
Okay.
Okay. Errol, Kit, what you doing?
So I really want to try and steal this key, but I have to get into I imagine I have to use stealth to get into position, or could I do it as one action doing roguish stuff?
I would do that as one active, one attempt roguish feats thing. And I do just want to let you guys know from Kit's kick, you did 1 injury to the army, and then you also did 1 morale damage. So,
Yeah, I don't reckon it's good for morale.
No.
That you see your leader instantly get booted across the
yeah,
entire length of the battlefield.
basically. So go ahead and attempt roguish feat, Errol.
All right. Oh gosh, my rolling's so bad right now. 5.
Oh no. Okay, so you try and go over in the chaos, but as it seems as though Kit's kick has whipped the squirrel army into action, and the opossum army has been whipped into action as well. So now you are basically charging with the opossums into the squirrel mayhem. So no key, unfortunately. And now you got to watch your back.
All right.
Meanwhile, Kit, I think there's this... Hang on. Okay. Sorry, I'm just reading the rules. It was bound to happen at some point. Well, I think it's only fair. I may as well just roll to wreck again.
Fair enough.
I'm in a big mech. Why would I not wreck?
Yeah.
So we'll try and aim another kick at another wave of squirrels. Try and send them flying. Ooh, not so good. That's a 5 in total.
Ooh, yeah. I
blame Errol.
Yeah, you're close to kicking Errol, and you have to change trajectory at the last minute, and you swipe a couple of squirrels, but not enough to do damage to the enemy forces. Okay. You each get another action before we go back to Barbara.
So after getting in the way of Kit's kick, since I am caught up in this conflict and I have failed to stealth anywhere, would I be able to try and attack the leader, or would I just need to attack something nearby?
You can go and try to attack the leader.
He would be within range.
He went flying some time ago.
Yeah,
did.
so you'd have to move in. Okay, so we'll say one action, one move will be to find him first.
He's probably picking himself up off the ground and kind of dusting himself off and checking his head for...
Yeah. So I'll say
But
read.
I was going to say he might be further away from the rest of the group. So if he's isolated, that might make him a slightly easier target.
Yeah. So I'll say you can read a tense situation to try and locate the leader very quickly, or trust fate to locate the leader quickly. But you are not in range and you don't know exactly where he is right now to be able to attack him. Or, you can go and choose to attack somebody else.
I will try to find him. Okay, that was much better. I got a 10 on that one for read a tense situation.
Perfect. Yeah, so you get to ask 3 questions.
What's my best way in to get to the leader?
Okay, you look around trying to defend yourself, and you can see probably about a few yards away, maybe like half a football field. So that's more than a few yards, a number of yards away. You're able to see that red squirrel fur amidst the gray. And what's in your way are 2 warthogs, squirrel warthogs, basically.
Who or what is most vulnerable to me?
Individual squirrels for sure is more vulnerable to your attacks. And in general, you can try and disappear into the crowd if you want to utilize your stealth.
And last one is, what should I be on the lookout for?
I'd say be on the lookout for mecha skirmish.
True.
Yeah, that is by far the biggest threat here. All of these woodland creatures, though the opossums are larger than normal, they're still small and your size. So the giant is the biggest thing you need to worry about.
It also says I get to take +1 when acting on the answers.
Yeah, so on your next turn, if you want to go towards the leader and like attack the warthog or something, you would get a +1 to whatever move you decide to do that. Or if you want to like blend into the crowd, you'd carry +1 there.
All right.
Cool. And then Kit, what are you going to be doing?
Well, my initial idea is, strictly speaking, for these special moves, you need to have the correct weapons skills for it.
Right.
But because I'm in mecha skirmish, I was thinking this Stormer group in melee looked quite suitable, with the idea it's basically just barreling right into the group. Because obviously I'm not going to use like my normal like trick shot, for example.
Right. Yeah.
Or my
I'll allow
finesse-based ones.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
So
Go for it.
if I see like Errol trying to make his way kind of towards the leader, and I see these 2 like warthogs in the way, we're going to be like, okay, charge them to try either get them out of the way, or form a distraction to let Errol sneak round.
Awesome.
And let's hope this works.
Yeah. Big if true.
I picked the right dice to roll today.
Oh my God. 2 6s again? Wow. Okay. You get both of them. It's perhaps not as spectacular as your first one, but you're able to barrel into both of these warthogs. Just as Errol is just kind of like standing there trying to decide what to do, it's just like mecha skirmish just like comes from the side and like takes them out, and now you just have like a strip of clear land. The only thing between you and the leader is a bunch of individual gray squirrels who are, let's be real, pretty terrified of this mecha skirmish at this point.
Basically the equivalent of a train just going...
Yeah, exactly. Mecha Coon coming from the side.
Skirmish the kaiju.
Yeah. Awesome. So Barbara, we'll flip back to you. Taking a little longer to make this chimney, but you've got it down. Step 3.
Great. So we've got condensation plate, which is like a glass bowl. It's like a big old glass bowl in a hole. We've got a water source in, which is this cold, this underground damp air, which is being driven in using Bernoulli's principle and this fire. And we've got condensation happening, but the problem is that the condensation is dripping, but your water is like down there and you want it to be up here with you. What do you do about it? Do you climb down in a hole, get a bucket, and climb out? That sounds dumb. Let's instead use Archimedes' screw. So the Archimedes screw is basically a hand crankable, big old screw, and as it rotates, the water in the bottom of it gets spiraled up continuously and comes out. So it's like a better than a bucket on a string. It's a crankable water retrieval system. So I have water automation, bowl collection and plumbing automation is step 3. And I'd like to roll cunning to build an Archimedes screw.
Go for it.
Well, 7 + 4 is 11 again.
Yeah, folks, remember, at the beginning of this game, I said it was okay because I hadn't read the character creation rules thoroughly. Read your character creation rules thoroughly before telling your characters they can level up a bunch.
Well, let's say it's a max of 2. That'd still be a 9, which is a
That's
success.
true. Yeah, that would still be a success in general. So perfect. You are working hard to construct this Archimedes screw, and you can hear the sound of the battle far away. And it's somewhat promising. All you really hear is like, ee!
For once, it's not baby possums who are keening.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Errol, Kit, what are you guys doing? You've got a clearer path, Errol, and Kit has done quite a lot of damage. You took out 2 of their warthogs, so you do 2 more injury. If you are able to fill all of their injury boxes, you guys don't know how many they've got, but if you're able to do it, they're basically like the army's forces are out of commission, basically, because they're too injured to move, unless someone goes and heals them, which is always possible. But you have done all of injury, no 1 exhaustion just by how long this battle has taken place, and 1 decay because you've defeated a number of their warthogs. Given the amount of time that's passed, I will also have you 2 take 1 exhaustion. But neither of you have been injured so far. And then I'll also put 1 decay on the mecha skirmish. And the mecha skirmish has 3 decay boxes. So I'll keep track of that too.
So if I mark 1 more exhaustion and that's my final box, that's it, right?
Yeah, you are too exhausted to move. So you're reaching your limit, Errol.
Yeah, and I had a plan for how I was going to do something, but I don't know if it's going to work out.
Well, Errol, if it helps, you've got this on the weapon moves, you've got target someone, which I think may be of particular interest to you.
And I'm curious, Errol, how does your exhaustion clear?
I have to be rebellious against an authority figure, which is why I was going after the leader guy.
You take him out, I think you could probably clear that. But yeah, target someone says, when you target a vulnerable foe at far range, and if you've been yeeted against a cave wall, I think that would qualify as vulnerable. Roll with finesse. On a hit, you inflict injury, and then on a 10+, you can strike again before they get to cover, inflict injury again, or keep your position hidden, your choice.
You know what's ironic is I was all like, choose your nature. And I was like, I don't know if I'm a perfectionist or not. What? I would never sacrifice others' interests to complete a project or craft. Proceeds to immediately do that.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
if you yell conspiracy theories while you're doing your little science project,
That's true.
then that counts as radical.
I'm moving it back to perfectionist because it's like I want it to not be, but I am. Like, that's just, I can't can't deny.
No, you have to like stick with the radical for this. Sorry. You got to change it once.
It's just
You're
funny.
just learning more about Barbara.
Unless for these people, scientific principles count as dangerous ideas.
That's, I mean, probably not because they're building a mecha skirmish.
So maybe I was espousing dangerous ideas.
Kit's a
Maybe I should have been
radical.
radical.
I'm a perfectionist. I would never sacrifice you two's interest in combat to complete my project or craft. What are you talking about? Okay, anyway. It's just funny. So keep going.
So the only issue with target someone, Kit, is that it needs to be at far range, and all my weapons are close range. So you have to have the tag far for your range on your weapon, I think.
Hey,
No.
Errol, this possum comes up to you with a bottle, and it's got translucent blue liquid in it, like tropical shallow waters. And the possum whispers to you, "The blessed invocation of the ultimate hearers."
Okay, does it have a tag that says "drink me" on it?
It's a weapon, so don't do that. But
Okay.
I think it's got "throw me" written on it.
Yeah, there we go. Throw me. Yeah, I need.
You can do that.
clear instructions. Sure. I'll try to chuck this at the leader guy.
Okay. Roll with finesse when you target a vulnerable foe at far range. Definitely vulnerable. On a 10 plus, you can strike again before they get to cover or keep your position hidden, your choice. So it sounds like you just automatically succeed. And then what you roll for is what you do after.
Well, it says on a hit, you inflict injury.
Oh, wow. That was the second sentence and I totally missed
It's
it.
a very small sentence,
Yeah.
granted.
Okay,
It's quite a
hit.
boring one too, so...
Yeah, that's fair. Like I saw the number and I was like, okay, this is going to tell me what happens on a 10 plus and a 7 to 9. But yeah, so all you need is a 7. That's the very least you need.
So technically, the +1 was for finding the leader, but could I use it to hit him?
Yes, because you're using that knowledge for your next action.
I got an 8.
An 8.
Wait,
that's all
with
you
finesse.
needed.
I'm sorry, it's a 9, but that's okay.
Yeah, no, that still works. If you had gotten one more, then you could do an extra action. So always add up those modifiers. But okay, with a 9, you chuck this potion at the leader and it smashes against him, covering him in this blue liquid. And for a moment, he's just like, oh no, what is that?
No, I'm a purple squirrel.
What is it? What do you say? It's so loud. It's so loud. And he just like covers his ears. It's just like, make it stop. Make it stop. I don't want to hear about your grandmother's recipe for fudge. No.
So, since this gave away my position because I didn't get the higher option, I will scream at the squirrel and I will say, "The possum people will never follow you, squirrel." and hope that I was rebellious enough to get rid of myself.
Screaming at someone with like a hearing aid in. How rude.
Well, screaming at someone and chucking basically paint on them, I'd say that counts as rebellious.
Yeah, I definitely. Yeah, so you get that is rebellious for sure. The possums behind you go, yeah, never surrender. And they are buoyed by just like this squirrel leader's breakdown into madness, apparently. So they end up taking another point of morale, which is great. If you end up filling up all of their morale boxes, they just lose the will to fight, basically. And then there is a point of Would going mad be injury or exhaustion? I don't know.
It really depends how, wouldn't it?
It really does. Yeah. I'm going to say exhaustion for this one. Mental exhaustion. Solid. You guys are doing quite a number on the forces. They are looking around in distress. They're looking for leadership, but their leader is yelling about not really caring about what temperature your oven has to be in order to get the perfect crisp on your pie crust. So yeah, Kit, that's what you're met with. There are like 2 more of those warthogs, but there are a lot of smaller squirrels as well, and then the leader at the back of them.
Are you guys riffing off pie because of possum pie?
No. I actually don't know what that is.
It's like chocolate pie, but...
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I was like, there's no way. They don't... All right.
No.
It's regional. Yeah. It does not have possums in it.
It's like a mud pie. There's no pie in it. It just is called that.
Yeah. There's no possum in possum pie. Exactly.
As far as you know. Okay, I think what we'll probably do is just regular engage in melee.
Okay.
So start smacking fools.
Sounds good. Go ahead and roll might.
That's a 7 on the dice plus a 2 for might makes a 9.
Awesome. So go ahead and pick one of those options as you start swinging your hands and feet and running them basically into all of these squirrels.
I'm personally thinking we should try and shift more to morale harm because they're more likely just to give up at that point rather than having squirrels which are like roundly physically beaten but more likely to try and come back later on. So if we go for you impress, dismay, or frighten your foe, and if there's any word to describe a giant metal skirmish, like swinging his fists around the battlefield, it's frightening.
Absolutely. Yeah. Even though there are still quite a lot of squirrels on this battlefield, they're engaged with the opossums. They've just seen their leader taken out. And now the mecha is not just targeting the squirrel warthogs. They're also just targeting the squirrels. It's terrifying.
Yeah, the arms start spinning around like very fast windmill blades. It just walks forward towards them and they all just scatter.
Absolutely. None of them are going to get caught in that if they can help it. And given all of the chaos and just how much of their larger squirrel warthog forces have been taken out, you've marked the last box. So there are 3 morale boxes and you've been able to nick or X out all of them. So you guys are going through. The squirrels all run, dragging their now mad leader after them. And the opossums lift their weapons in victory and cry, "You better run. We're going to go and catch you. We're going to give the water back to everybody."
Hooray, but I want to hear what's happening with making the funnel thing.
Absolutely. This is the last step.
For the very last step, we have the thing that Barbara can't really do on her own, and that's moving all the parts into place. The phase is called heavy construction. Gotta put it all together. And that's going to take multiple hands. So this is when I imagine I'm like, "Hey, everybody, can you lend a hand for a moment?"
Everybody, stop your war. I need to move some things from here to there.
How utterly convenient that the war has ended, or at least the battle has ended right when you need all of these hands.
Do you mind helping? Thank you.
They all go. You get a lot of opossums high on victory, and some of them are whispering, starting to like share tales. Oh, yeah, she was the one who made that concoction, the one that made the leader go mad. Yeah, let's go and help her. And that's kind of an interesting thing to roll, but like I'd say might. But you will get help from all of the opossums.
I definitely need help. Yeah, might is a +0 for me. Yeah. So I'm gonna roll and then hopefully get some assistance. That is, well, it's a 7, which is average, but
That's true. And with their help, that is a +1, so an 8. So
Yay.
it takes a little longer than you expected. They are tired. The adrenaline's dying down, but eventually the last piece is placed on your still, your solar still.
that's dope.
A mama possum comes up to all of you, and there are possums cheering and hugging and everything. And she goes to the three of you and says, I don't know how to repay you for your kind actions. I did mistrust you, and I apologize for that. Well, but you've shown your worth, and I thank you for that. All of us here at the Possum Village thank you for that. And there's a resounding, thank you. You're the best. Awesome. Fire-breathing kittens.
When they smile, all the possums have too many teeth.
Yeah.
If you guys have seen possums.
Yeah. Exactly.
Their noses are just a bit too long.
So there's a great victory party that's now getting ready to be thrown. And Mama Possum says, you all are welcome to stay, but I also know that you're likely wanting to return to the guild, and I'd like to come with you when you do, just so that I can get my babies back.
Before we leave, Errol is practicing playing dead with Jeremy.
And Jeremy's just like, wow, you're so good at this.
And then Kit is extracting himself from Mecha Skirmish. And also, I just considered the fact that because we've also got like possums like in the arms, due to the maneuver we just pulled,
Yeah.
with the arms spinning, we basically just put two possums into a centrifuge.
Yeah.
So we extract them and they just flump onto the ground like and walk around a little bit and fall over again.
Yeah.
You've invented a new game.
Yeah.
Well, we started their space program at the very least.
Yes, that's true.
First possums with knives. In the future, possums in space. The astronaut training now.
The possums that were in the legs go and talk to you, Kit, and they're just like, oh, making sure that the knees don't bend at multiple places was an excellent idea.
Yeah, can you imagine what would happen had we kick that and then the foot flies back and hits us in the face? That would have been awful.
That would have been terrible. You're so smart, Kit. Thank you so much for your help.
It's okay. Cool. I'm going to go over here now.
Awesome.
Someone said something nice to him. He's got to leave. Those are the rules.
Yeah. And then at the end, once there's been a little bit more settling down, Skirmish comes out after helping Barbara. He's all covered in dirt and stuff. And he says, well, Barbara, you seem to have made a fine contraption over there.
I look at Skirmish, who's the person who actually did all the work.
Yeah.
And I'm like, isn't it fabulous?
Well, yes. You're going to have to maybe help the kittens with getting a little bit more technologically advanced over there at the guild.
I'll try.
And you know, Skirmish, you could probably hold some training in our basement since apparently the possums have just been coming and going whenever they feel like it.
Oh, yes. I was thinking about that too. And I I was thinking, since I am already somewhat associated with the academy back in Nicomoy, I could open up a woodland creatures seminar class, perhaps, and help other kinds of creatures who have gained sapience just be able to defend themselves.
Sorry, I've just thought of something. You know the river's kind of bad quality, right? Have you thought about boiling that water?
Are you asking that to the possums?
Yeah.
Well, yes.
I just think it would be really funny had like no one thought of just boiling the water.
But yeah. Well, that is one of the first things that Skirmish suggested when we brought him over here, and unfortunately, it didn't work.
Well, that's a shame. Guess we got to war then.
Yes. Well, the war is not exactly over, but at the very least, we've gotten a very strong response now to the squirrels, and it's only a matter of time till that well water is good for everybody again. Even though the river's undrinkable now, I think we can rely on that well for a long time.
Well, if you need a tap with some more water or beer or something, then you know where to find us.
Yep. We'll just come up from your basement.
Yeah, we do have stairs. You don't have to break through the floorboards.
But that's more fun.
Yeah, I know, but someone has to put that back, and it's probably going to be me or Barbara.
Oh, well, if it'll put you out, I suppose that we can go and try using the stairs. So, to finish wrapping up the one loose end, how do you guys free Mama Possum's babies in the guild hall? If you do, I guess you don't necessarily have to.
Are these the ones that were trapped in lava?
Yes, they were.
Okay, I can dismantle my potions. I imagine I have pretty good anti-potions. So the opposite
Probably.
of basalt is a white powder that turns it into pumice.
Awesome. So you sprinkle that white powder, maybe mixed in with other stuff. I'm not entirely sure how that would necessarily work. But the basalt...
Magic.
Yeah, magic. The basalt sloughs off, and all of the babies in the version 1 skirmish doppelganger mecha come rushing out and go and hug Mama Possum, and they're all like, we'll never attack the floorboards again. Mama, we were so sad. But she comforts them. You guys fix the floorboards and have the stairs.
It wouldn't be an adventure without Barbara terrorizing a group of children.
She's just not a good kids person, you know. I think that's just what's going on with Barbara. But everything's cleared up. Stuff is fixed. You now have a somewhat working relationship with a nation at war, somewhat, kind of. They're possums, but at the very least, you don't have to be worried about the big possum in the basement with the katana, because she's on your side now.
And that's all I ever wanted.
All right. Is there anything else you guys want to do before we end our game?
I will start another House of Cards.
Yeah, at least we know this one's not going to get knocked over by skirmish.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us today, listeners. We were joined on this adventure today by Errol Corvidbow.
I can't wait till our possum friends grow up and become teenage fighting sapient possums.
Do 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 do.
Parakimite.
There we go.
Yeah. And
Well, oh,
no, I thought that was it.
I mean, it can be.
Sorry. No, go for it.
Finally,
Kit.
someone gets my name right. It's a miracle.
And Barbara Anjali.
I'm outie.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. It's that part of the show where we tell you about a podcast you might enjoy. Have you heard of Before the Business? Before the Business is a podcast series that celebrates the origin stories of entrepreneurs. Each episode, they interview the founder of a unique business to learn what inspired them to start their business and what drives them to continue pushing forward. Check out Before the Business, a podcast.